Hi, in this video we're going to have a quick look at how we would manage the attachment of files for assignments, and this is largely around what we want pupils to be able to do with the files that we've attached. So we'll have a look at attaching so that pupils can just view a file, attaching so that pupils can edit the actual file itself which has been added, or attaching so that each pupil gets their own separate copy of that file. So if you're in an assignment that you're in the process of So if you're in the process of creating an assignment, you'll be familiar if you've already watched the videos about materials that we have these icons down at the bottom here which allow us to attach different files. Most of the time you'll be attaching files that you already have in Google Drive, though obviously you can upload a file from your device and you can attach in new items, so we can create new files that we want pupils to work on, which might be good if you want to just quickly make a worksheet that pupils have access to. For now, we'll stick with looking at Google Drive because it's really the permissions that we're interested in at the moment. So if I click on Add from Google Drive, I'm going to select first of all this sample file, and we want pupils to be able to view this. You'll see that we get this the first time you do it, this little info window that comes up telling us about the sharing settings, but I'll just talk you through that. At the moment, students can view this file, and this is an option we have in an assignment which we don't have in materials, because in a material post, the only option is that pupils can view the file. If we click on the drop down, you'll see that we can also choose to let them edit or make a copy. I'm going to leave this one as can view file, and I'll add some other files and change the options on those. So the second one, we're going to change that so that this time students can edit the file. And what this means is that individual file that we have just attached from our drive is now editable by all the students that this assignment is being set to. So you need to be very aware of this, because quite often if it's a worksheet, you actually want them individually to edit it. You don't want to have 20 or 30 pupils all trying to edit the same file simultaneously, because that can obviously become a bit of a car crash. It can, however, be quite a fun thing to do. You can do group activities where you share the same source file with a group of pupils and they've all got to do something with it. But I guess that's for you to kind of use your pedagogical imagination for and figure out how that would apply in your situation. In my case, the third option is that we can do what we will probably be doing very often with assignments, and that is to add a file so that students can actually get their own copy. And when we do this, what happens as soon as I assign this post is the classroom will create a new copy of that file in the Google Drive of each of the students in your classroom that it's been assigned to. So it's not taking and letting them edit the original file, it's copying it for each of them. It's essentially like a digital photocopier. And it drops that file into their Google Classroom folder in their Google Drive, but they will also be able to access it directly by just looking at the assignment. They'll find it there listed in their work. So those are the three options. And the one thing I would caution you about is that this last option, make a copy for each student, is the only one that's difficult to retrospectively edit. The others, well, you can always come back to an assignment you've already created and add files that students can view or that they can edit. But after you have created an assignment already, you cannot come back and edit to make it available so there's a copy for each student. That can only be done the first time the assignment is created, and it can't be edited afterwards. So just bear that in mind. Having done this, we can click Assign to assign this assignment with those files attached to it. And while we're doing that, I'm going to navigate over to how that looks for a pupil. So we'll just have a look at our example class. And from a pupil's perspective, these are the three files. So we can see if we click on this first one, I can only view this file here. It says I would have to request edit access. And that's because this is the one that was shared as view only. So this is good for resource materials, for example. The second one, if we click on it, we should find that this time we actually are able to edit this text. So we can delete things, we can add things, just as you'd expect. So we have now got access to the original file. Now, if we go to this one here, this is the one that was shared as a copy for each pupil, and you'll see it actually appears specifically in this Your Work section, which is the attachments that are that pupil's own files. And if we go into this as a student, I can edit this piece of work, do whatever I'm going to do. So say it was a worksheet, I can do whatever I'm going to do. And then when I'm finished, I can mark that as done by turning it in, or when I'm in my classroom, I can just hand in, and that will turn that piece of work in to be assessed. It's not to say that pupils can't create their own assignments or their own files by using the Add or Create button, but that's basically how you would go about managing attachments to an assignment.